Hello everyone, welcome back to Code Studio. In this video, we'll be discussing the higher order array function for each. In case you haven't watched a pilot episode of higher order functions, please do watch it to get a clear understanding of what a higher order function actually is. Let's get started with our video. Since for each is a higher order function, we return a callback function on accessing for each method on any array. In some illustrations, we'll be denoting the callback function using this decahedron. For each in fact acts like a for loop for each element of the array. In sense, when you actually call for each on a given array, callback function is executed on each and every element of that array. So now let us see how to use the for each method by analyzing its syntax. The syntax provided in the official docs is of this sort, where the callback function has three inputs: iterable element, index, and the array object itself. And then we have the actual function call. This callback function is inside the for each method, which is binded to the array on which we are accessing the method. The iterable element is a required argument and the rest are optional. Another important point to remember is that this method for each does not return any value out of it, and hence mutates the array if the callback function is intended to do so. Unlike the other higher order functions which we will be discussing in consequent videos in this series, those higher order functions do not mutate the original array and returns a new array when that higher order function is binded to a given array. So, how to use this practically? I'll give you some set of examples using which you'll completely understand how the for each function works and how for each method calls the callback function on each and every element of the array in ascending order. In the first example here, I'll be using the for each method to calculate the sum of squares of all numbers in the array. To start with, let us create an array with three numbers 1, 2, 3. To make our understanding simple, we can take a complex example to test the power of JavaScript, but that is not our agenda here. We are learning a new concept and let us make this simple, and this would also be helpful while you are learning new things to debug yourself where you went wrong. Since I have told you that the for each method is bound to the array object, array.forEach would be how I'll be calling my for each method on that array. To call a callback function, we can use the ES5 method of writing an anonymous function using the function keyword. But since I have told you in the video number 0 that I would be using ES6 in this series of videos, I'll be using the fat arrow syntax to actually declare a callback function. Since this is the first and basic example, I'll be only including the iterable element as my only argument for this problem, because I do not require the index and the array object here. I'll be also giving you some examples wherein we'll be also using the other two arguments. For this example, let us only use the iterable element. The iterable element can be named with any name you want. But for simplicity, I'll name the iterable element to be e. The square of a value is nothing but math.pow e comma 2. This is nothing but we calculate the value of e to the power of 2. But how do I add them all? To add them all, let me declare a variable sum, and sum equal to sum plus math.pow e comma 2. So I should also have a sum variable which is initialized to 0, which I'll be doing it above. The callback function is called for each element of the array 1, 2 and 3, and in the first place when the sum equal to 0, the math.pow 1 square 1 is added to sum where the value of sum becomes 1, and in the second call for the element 2, the math.pow 2 square is 4 and it gets added to 1, giving us the value of sum to be 5, and then in the same way 3 square 9, 9 gets added to 5 and the value of sum would be 14. To verify this, let us actually console.log the value of sum. Since we get 14 here, it actually means our code is running fine. So you get a clear understanding of what is actually happening here. We are calling the for each function, which actually takes a callback function that gets called on each and every element of the array. So this is how a for each method is implemented on a given array using JavaScript. We can actually make this whole 5 lines of code into a single line with the use of ES6 in this format. Array.forEach, and then I'll be calling this e, and then since I'm writing in a single line, I do not require my flower brackets, and I'll be returning sum equal sum plus math.pow e comma 2. Wait. So let me comment this out to check whether our single line of code works fine or not. Yes, the answer is still the same, 14. So this is how you can write a one-liner function using for each method. If you wish to write a for loop, it will take again 5 to 6 lines, which is cumbersome, and since you have to also adapt to new methods, for each is a very good thing to learn. In the second example here, we'll be looking into using the index argument in for each. Let us say if we want to calculate the maximum of the product of array element and its index. Let us say we have an array, the same array we have taken in the earlier example 1, 2, 3, and we already know the value of the indices for this array is 0, 1 and 2 respectively. Let us say if we want to calculate the maximum of the product of array element and its respective index, and let us do it using the for each method here. So let us declare a value called maxval and let us equate it to 0 in the initial stage. Since we have seen in the earlier example, the for each is called on the array on which we have to access the elements for, and inside the for each we'll call the callback having the iterable element e and also the index. The index argument actually provides us the indices of the array object in an ascending order. Since we have to find the maximum value, let us include the maxval is equal to math.max, and the maximum is compared every time with the product of iterable value e times its index and the maximum value so far computed. So this gives us the maximum value after the callback function is called on all elements and the product e times its index is calculated on all elements. We'll be getting the maximum value. So let's take our maximum value by logging it onto our terminal. Our maxval is 6, which is nothing but 3 times 2. Let us actually reverse this array and run this again, and we'll find that the maximum value is 2, which is 2 times 1 or 2 times 1. If we wish to have zeros and 0 here and then run it, our maximum value would be 0 because we have only 0. So this is how you calculate the maximum value and you utilize the index argument in the for each method. The third example is quite simple, and let us actually try using all the 3 arguments that we can use in for each callback. So as we have seen in the theory part, that the third argument is array object itself. Since we are already binding our for each to a given array, why are we actually using this array object? The third function is actually defined to define the closure of that callback function being used. Let us say if we want to find the same example of finding the maximum value of product of element and its respective array, and we define that callback function using a named function instead of this anonymous function. Let us do it quick fast. So let us name that function to be calculate, and then our inputs should be e, index and array. You would understand why I am using this array argument soon. And then I'll call the callback function into this for each method, but I'll only be referencing the function and not initializing this function. Let me actually change it to something else, 2, 3, 4, which should ideally give the answer 8. So this calculate max value has no arguments and it is bound to this array by seeing the argument third one. When we remove the third argument, an error comes to us. So let me run again so that my answer would be 8. Perfect. And let us say if we want to invoke the same calculate max val on a different array, like let me declare a different array, const array2, which would be 1, 2, 3 and array 2 dot for each. Let me comment out my first for each method and let me call the for each for the second array, and let's see what the answer comes to be like. Our answer is 6, which means that calculate maxval callback function sees this array third argument and then binds to that particular array which is bound to the for each method. When we want to invoke a particular callback named function on different arrays, then we have to use that array argument so that when we bind the callback to a particular array, the third argument allows the function to know which array it is operating on. And also in cases when the array is not named and the for each is implemented on that array, the third argument has to be mentioned so that the callback function understands on which array that callback function is being acted to. Let us say an unnamed array would be something like this with the numbers like 2, 3 and 5. Then when I run our code, our answer would be 10 because the third argument would help calculate Maxwell callback function to understand it is bound to this particular array. This is what you should have known about for each method before you move into working with advanced JavaScript or any JavaScript framework like React, Angular, Vue or Node soon. Stay tuned to Code Studio for the consequent videos on higher order functions. Don't miss the videos by turning on the bell icon and subscribing to us. I have also created a playlist on my channel named Higher Order Array Functions where all the videos in this series goes in, and if you wish to have a mini course on higher order functions, access the playlist whose link will also be added in the description, and enjoy the joyride of coding. Until then, bye. Signing off, Sai Ankit, Code Studio.